Welcome back here once again, everyone. Now, I have, I know you should know that my take on when it comes to comic book movies and things being adapted, how sometimes they stray heavily from the source material, and I really don't like that at all. I think that the stories that have been written for these comic book adaptations are really well done. And if you stick to them, now I'm not saying nothing that everything is going to be 100% accurate, but if you stick to them, you could get really well done stories out of it. But for the longest while, Marvel and DC have not been doing that, and we've been seeing it at the box office where some of these movies, especially in Marvel's Phase 4 and DC for the better part, have been suffering really badly because they refuse to do these things justice the way that they should be done. According to this article here, a producer from Marvel Studios has actually come out and finally admitted something we've all long suspected and known, and something that I have said more than once. Let's get into this article from Bongling into Comics. Marvel Studios producer considers it a red flag if prospective writers are fans of original comics, prefers to hire someone who's out of the culture. So basically what you're saying is that you don't want you don't want any writers or anything on these projects who are actual fans of the original comics. That's a problem because you want to do your own damn thing. And when your own thing fails miserably because it's not anywhere close to what has been done, then who do they blame? The fans. Let's get into this. As if it wasn't obvious enough from simply watching any of the studio's post-Infinity War output, producer Nate Moore has revealed that he believes the key to Marvel Studios' success is hiring writers who are out of the comic book culture over anyone who loves the source material. Clearly he is saying clearly he's talking about some nonsense that I can't comprehend, because Phase 4, aka Phase 4 for Marvel, has been an unmitigated disaster. I mean, even if you just look at this right here, this is a clip from Doctor Strange 2. We have Mr. Fantastic, Monica Rambeau, Black Bolt, and Captain Carter, all who were taken out extremely stupidly by Wanda Maximoff, because that entire movie was just basically nobody could stop Wanda. Woman power all the way. And the movie was not done good. Again, as I say, some of the visuals and the movie were really good, but apart from that, terrible. Absolutely terrible. Let's move on to it. Moore, whose career has seen him serve as a producer for such Marvel Cinematic Universe entries as Captain America Civil War, okay, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, well, that wasn't good, and most recently Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So that should tell you, the last two alone should tell you exactly where his train of thought is going. Shared his insight into Marvel Studios' hiring philosophy during an appearance on the November 16th episode of the Ringer the Tongue podcast. Okay. Speaking with host Matthew Belloni about his general experience working for the Disney subsidiary, Moore was eventually asked if there was some kind of a Marvel boot camp or something that you do with these filmmakers to ingratiate them into this world and knowing all the things that they need to know, to which the producer confirmed not really. Noting that some Marvel writers grew up reading and collecting comics such as Avengers Endgame co-director Joe Russo and Black Panther director Ryan Coogler, I am not gonna say that's 100% accurate, but alright. Moore told Belloni, one thing I think is interesting, and specifically for writers I would say, is that a lot of times we're pitched writers who love Marvel, and to me that's a red flag. Why did they hire you if that's a red flag? I don't understand. Wouldn't you want people who love the product and want to make something equally enjoyable, bring it to life on the big screen. Wouldn't that make sense? That's where the money would literally roll in. I don't want you to already have a pre-existing idea of what it is. Here we go. Because you grew up with the comics and that's what you want to recreate. Why not? Continue. I want someone who's going to be hard on the material, who can go, what is this? I think there's a movie here, but maybe we should be looking at it in this way. Now, there's an easy way to discredit everything he's just said there with this very clip below here, right? This is from Black Widow, the movie, right? We have Black Widow here, we have Taskmaster. They royally screwed up that movie. And they royally screwed up that movie in several ways. I'll touch on the main points. First off, a lot of people were upset that this was not the Black Widow that they knew. It was not the Black Widow that we were introduced to in Iron Man and then in Avengers. No, she felt like a completely different person, and I agree with that. Secondly, and even more importantly, what they did to Taskmaster was criminal. Absolutely criminal. Wanting to push the MCU. Taskmaster is an assassin with a photographic memory type thing that he could literally copy any ability that anybody has. Literally anybody. Captain America, Iron Man, any styles of martial art, kind of thing. He could literally copy anything. The best fighters in the world, he can copy their abilities, and then that allows him to take you on. Now, if you have Black Widow going up against someone like that, that would give you an opportunity to really showcase some of her skills and creativity. We got none of that, because why? Probably, I'm not saying here the people who worked on that movie were not fans of the comics and didn't know what to do. So what did they do with Taskmaster? Turn Taskmaster into a woman. You understand? We put a really stupid story as to why Taskmaster was a woman that made no sense whatsoever, and showed just how stupid and literally idiotic and unknowledgeable about the source material they were. And the movie bombed hard. It's a terribly done movie, because you didn't follow what was actually already done, set in stone, made to be excellent. You could have used that. Like I said, it's not always going to be 100%, but it could have been, you could have made a little tweak here and there, but still get it as close to the source material as possible. People would have loved it. No, you didn't do that. Let's continue on what he has to say. Offering up an example of what he was looking for in prospective writers, more than pointed to Captain America trilogy writers Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, who weren't comic guys coming up, but were like, wait, Captain America, this seems a bit weird. What if we kind of looked at it in this way? And they weren't married to anything. Nothing was sacrosanct, recalled the producer. Now, even if that, as he said, is a fact there are certain things you have to follow in regards to Captain America. What he is talking about here, what is Marvel talking about here, is he wants writers who could create movies. Nothing is wrong with that. But you also need people who know and understand the source material that they are building from, and can then incorporate that into a movie. If you don't have that, you end up in serious problems. We've seen it in this phase 4. I mean, look at She-Hulk, for instance. The writers openly admitted that they hated the fans. They created that entire series just to use as a middle finger to the fans. That's all that they did. That's all that they did. They admitted that they didn't know the source material, didn't know how to write a legal drama, didn't know how to write a superhero show, didn't know how to write anything at all. They just came on board to be a bunch of angry women to bully men. That's it. That show was terrible. Continues on. I think that's important to be able to go, look, the source material is great and I love it, and comics work great in the medium they were built in. But that's not a direct one-to-one translation to the best version of the movie. That's pretty much a given. We know that comics are more done to tell stories over a period of time. Now you can incorporate that into a movie. You just have to not be lazy and ridiculous. And sometimes it takes someone who's out of the culture to go, hey, I know you think it should be this, but maybe it should be this other thing. Ay, ay, ay. Turning to provide further support for his argument, Moore then put forth Thor Ragnarok and Thor Love and Thunder, oh God, director David Cohen as a great example of that too. Because he was like, hey, I know Thor traditionally is a bit stiff, a bit Shakespearean. What if you tweaked it? What if you tweak the tone completely? Just from this picture here alone, from Thor Love and Thunder, I should tell you, you should never have done that. In Thor Ragnarok, they started off with the turning Thor into a funny joke kind of thing. That turned off a lot of people. Making changes to the story that didn't make sense turned off even more people. Things that they did with Hela and all kind of things didn't make sense at all. In Thor Love and Thunder, I did a review for that, one of the worst movies they've ever made. It was just a basic clown fest. Everything was a blasted joke. Everything was like hee 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 ha 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 hoo 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 ha 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 hee hee hee. Nothing was serious in that entire movie. The God Butcher was done terribly. Thor was a joke. Pushing Lady Thor in Jane Foster was an unmitigated disaster. It didn't work in the comics. It didn't work in the movies. And you're trying to use those two as justification. That should tell you off the bat that it's not going the way you want it to at all. The tone of Ragnarok is all Taika because he wasn't married to Thor on the page. Well, he screwed that up, concluded the producer, believing himself to be complimenting the director rather than hitting the nail on the head as to why many fans have been turned off by Waititi's take on God of Thunder. I haven't read every Thor book. I have read a lot. I couldn't tell you of a run on a tonally anything like Ragnarok, because this actually cements what I've been saying. When you hire people who don't understand the source material, who don't care for the source material, you are putting yourself in some serious problems, because you're showing you don't know what the hell you're doing, and you're hoping everybody's going to be okay with the fact that you don't know what the hell you're doing. It doesn't work like that. Taika Waititi did a terrible job with Thor. He pretty much destroyed the character, and nobody's patting him on the back for it at all. Marvel Studios' latest film, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, is now playing in theaters. Yeah, and I've done a review of that terrible movie. Terrible movie. Namor is not Namor. Shuri is a horrible Black Panther. Wakanda is a joke of a nation, and everything is just a sad introduction to the MCU that falls flat on its face. Bottom line, he has come out and admitted something that a lot of people have suspected and have known for a long time. They don't care about the bottom line of doing anything properly with these movies. They don't want to hire people who are actual fans of the original comics. They want to bastardize it into their own versions, and when it fails miserably, they turn around and blame the fans. That's what they always do. And he has come out now and finally admitted it. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it.